Heaven O'Brien was a bubbly 17-year-old in Cratertown, Vermont. She was a part of the dance team at her high school, Cratertown Valley High. She also had a boyfriend. She just got her permit, and she had a mother, father, and a younger brother in middle school. Heaven's life was like a dream until a new transfer came to town, and Heaven noticed that he was quiet and didn't want to socialize with others. His name was Tobias Ward. Tobias sat in the back of every classroom, always choosing the desk closest to the window. He never ate in the cafeteria. Tobias never attended football games, school dances, or the parties that seemed to happen every weekend in Cratertown. Most people thought Tobias was weird. Heaven thought he was lonely.
Stop staring at the serial killer.
Heaven's best friend Ariel whispered during lunch. Heaven rolled her eyes.
He's not a serial killer.
He wears the same black jacket every day.
So?
And I've never seen him smile.
Maybe he doesn't like you.
Ariel threw a French fry at Heaven. Heaven laughed before glancing across the cafeteria again. Tobias was gone. For some reason, that bothered her. The next afternoon, Heaven saw him walking home from school. It was unusually hot for Vermont, the kind of April afternoon that made the roads look wet from a distance and caused everyone in town to complain that summer had arrived too early. Heaven was practicing driving with her mother.
Slow down before the curve,
Her mother said.
I know.
Heaven.
I know, Mom.
Then Heaven saw Tobias. He was walking along the side of the road.
Can I give him a ride?
Her mother looked at her.
Who?
The new kid from school.
Tobias continued walking. Her mother sighed.
If he says yes.
Heaven pulled over. She rolled down the window.
Tobias,
He stopped. Heaven smiled.
do you need a ride?
Tobias stared at her.
No.
He continued walking. Heaven's mouth dropped open. Her mother laughed.
Well, you tried.
Heaven looked back. Tobias had stopped walking. He stood in the middle of the road behind them, watching the car.
Heaven.
She turned around.
Watch the road.
That night, Heaven received a text message from a number she didn't recognize.
You shouldn't invite strangers into your car.
Heaven sat up in bed.
Who is this?
The response came immediately.
Tobias.
Heaven smiled.
How did you get my number?
3 dots appeared. Then it disappeared. 3 dots appeared again.
Everyone knows you, Heaven O'Brien.
She stared at the message. For the first time, Tobias made her uncomfortable, but only for a moment. Heaven had always been curious. It was one of the things her father loved about her. It was also the thing that would eventually destroy everyone around her. Over the next several weeks, Heaven started talking to Tobias, mostly through text messages. At school, he barely acknowledged her. At night, they talked for hours. Tobias asked strange questions.
Have you ever killed anything?
Heaven laughed when she read it.
A spider.
That doesn't count.
Why are you asking me this?
I'm curious about you.
Heaven smiled.
Everyone is curious about me.
Tobias responded.
Not the way I am.
She should have stopped talking to him. She didn't. Tobias knew things about Heaven that she had never told him. He knew she hated strawberry ice cream even though everyone assumed it was her favorite because she loved the color pink. He knew she sometimes sat in her car in the driveway after driving practice and pretended she already had her license. He knew Heaven's bedroom light stayed on until almost 2 a.m, and he knew that when Heaven was angry, she smiled.
You do that a lot.
Tobias told her one afternoon. They were sitting near the abandoned quarry outside Cratertown.
Do what?
Smile when you want to hurt someone.
Heaven laughed.
I don't want to hurt anyone.
Tobias looked at her.
Yes, you do.
Heaven's smile disappeared. Tobias leaned closer.
Everyone does.
The summer before Heaven's junior year was supposed to be perfect. Her boyfriend Ryan had gotten his license. Ariel's parents were going out of town for 2 weeks, and she had a massive in-ground pool for pool parties, and the dance team was hosting a summer fundraiser. Also, there were bonfires almost every weekend near Crater Lake. Heaven was happy to go into the summer with her best friend and boyfriend and looking forward to senior year. Heaven had asked Ariel if Tobias could come to any of the events for the summer, and Ariel looked at Heaven like she had 3 heads.
Heaven, he's a freak. He just doesn't fit well with everyone. I mean, he came from Connecticut from a reform school because he made bomb threats.
How do you know if that's true, Ariel?
I just know he's the type of person who would, shoot up the school. kill a couple people for sport.
Ariel's flippantness about Tobias's past made Heaven upset, but what did she really know about Tobias? Heaven felt like she should ask more to get to know her new friend a little better. That night, Heaven texted Tobias.
Hey, I heard that you came from Connecticut.
Yeah. And did you hear that I went to the crazy house too?
What? No, I just want to get to know you better. It seems you know a lot about me, and I don't really know a lot about you.
What do you want to know?
Well, for starters, why are you here in Vermont?
Tobias didn't answer quickly, and he texted back 10 minutes later.
Meet me at the quarry.
Heaven texted back okay and went to the quarry, which was a 5-minute walk from her house. She brought her flashlight and cell phone, and Tobias was at the entrance before she got there. Heaven asked Tobias about his life and how he ended up in Crater Town. Tobias explained that his father, Dr. Nathaniel Ward, had accepted a position as the new executive director of Crater Town Regional Hospital after spending nearly 15 years working in hospital administration in Connecticut. The promotion came with a larger salary, a bigger house, and the kind of professional title his father had spent his entire career chasing. For Tobias, it came with nothing. He had been pulled away from the only home he knew and dropped into a small Vermont town where everyone seemed to know each other before they learned how to spell their own names. By the time Tobias transferred to Cratertown Valley High, rumors about the hospital director's quiet son had already started spreading. He never went to a psych hospital, and he was a part of drama club and the band at his previous school. He never made bomb threats or went to the psych ward. Tobias was depressed about moving to Vermont and didn't want to make friends. He wanted to get back to Connecticut as soon as possible. Heaven was starting to understand Tobias more and figured he was misunderstood and upset that he had to move. Heaven could understand his frustration and why Tobias took on the persona of a person that wanted to be a loner. Once they finished talking, Tobias walked Heaven back to her house, and she asked,
How did you get my number?
Your mom is a nurse, and my dad told her I was going to your school. And she said, I should text you.
Heaven smiled and shrugged it off, and with a clearer understanding of Tobias, she wasn't as apprehensive anymore. Summer break had just started, and Ariel's parents were going out of town, and there was going to be a pool party at Ariel's house. Heaven wanted to invite Tobias again, but she just texted him on the way to the party as Ryan picked her up. When Ryan and Heaven got to the party, there were drinks, pills, and people jumping in the pool. Heaven wasn't a big drinker, and neither was Ryan because he played basketball. Heaven wanted to get a little closer to Ryan because he was going to basketball camp for 2 weeks, and she was hoping to go all the way with him tonight. Ariel said it wouldn't be a good idea, but she knew that she could sneak Ryan into the guest bedroom in Ariel's house for some private time. Heaven went to the bathroom to freshen up, and before she came out, she saw Ryan kissing Ariel. Neither of them knew Heaven was watching, and something in Heaven's body knew that her boyfriend and Ariel had been hooking up for a while. The kiss didn't seem forced or awkward, it seemed familiar. Heaven watched through the kitchen window as her boyfriend placed his hands around her best friend's waist. Ariel laughed, and Ryan kissed Ariel's neck and touched her lower abdomen. Heaven was disgusted and deceived by Ryan and Ariel, and then she felt the right side of her lip curl up to a smile. Heaven left the party with a ride from Tobias. He had snuck into the party, and on the ride home it was silent except for one statement Tobias made to Heaven.
You saw them finally. Now what do you want to do about it?
Heaven didn't confront them, but she wanted to know how Tobias knew, and then he said,
I see everything in this town. I see things that people ignore or don't want to see.
The rest of the drive back to Heaven's house was quiet, and she got out of Tobias' car with so many unanswered questions about how Tobias came to the party, how long he knew about Ryan and Ariel, and how did he know where she lived. Was Tobias stalking her? But all Heaven could do was text Tobias when she got into her house.
I hate them.
Tobias responded almost immediately.
No, you don't.
Heaven frowned. Another message appeared.
Hate means you still care.
Then another.
You want to hunt them.
Heaven laughed. She thought he was joking.
You're insane.
Tobias sent one final message.
Meet me at the quarry again tomorrow night and I'll teach you how to hunt.
Heaven should have told her parents. She should have blocked his number or stayed home. Instead, at 11:43 the next night, Heaven climbed out of her bedroom window. Tobias was waiting near the quarry. He had a backpack.
What are we doing?
Tobias smiled. It was the first time she had ever seen him smile.
You're going to stop pretending
Heaven crossed her arms.
Pretending what?
that you're like them.
He opened the backpack. Inside were photographs, dozens of them. People from Crater Town, teachers, students, police officers, Heaven's dance coach, Ariel, Ryan, and Heaven. There were more photographs of Heaven than anyone else. Her sleeping, dancing, walking home, and her sitting in her parents' backyard. Heaven stepped away from him.
What the hell is all this?
Tobias didn't move.
I told you. I'm curious about you.
You've been following me?
Studying you. Tonight you're going to learn how to hunt.
Heaven turned to run. Tobias grabbed her. Heaven screamed. He covered her mouth.
You don't understand. Accept who you are, Heaven O'Brien.
She bit his hand. Tobias released her. Heaven ran. She didn't know where she was going. The quarry was dark. Trees surrounded the old mining trails, and the only light came from the moon. Behind her, Tobias laughed. Then Heaven heard him say something that would remain with her for the rest of her life.
Run, Heaven, run.
She stopped. Silence.
I'm coming to get you.
Heaven ran faster. Tobias hunted her for almost 2 hours. Sometimes she heard him, and sometimes she didn't. He would whistle, throw rocks near her, and call her name. Once, Heaven hid beneath a fallen tree and watched Tobias walk less than 5 feet away. She covered her mouth to keep herself from breathing too loudly. For the first hour, Heaven was terrified. During the second hour, something changed. She became angry. Heaven stopped running. She picked up a rock. Then she waited. Tobias found her near the water. He smiled.
There you are.
Heaven hit him. The rock struck the side of his head. Tobias fell. Heaven hit him again, and again, and again. Tobias stopped moving. Heaven stood over him. Her hands were shaking. Blood covered her arms. She started crying. Then she started laughing. Not because it was funny, because Tobias had been right. Heaven smiled when she wanted to hurt someone. She dragged Tobias closer to the quarry. She didn't know how long she sat beside his body. The sun was beginning to rise when Heaven looked at his face. Tobias had spent weeks studying her, watching her, learning everything about her, but he had made one mistake. He thought he was the hunter. Heaven found a pre-planned suicidal note Tobias wrote in his backpack, and Heaven placed it in his hand. But she never read it. Heaven touched the blood on his cheek. Then she smiled.
You found me,
Heaven leaned closer to him.
but you shouldn't have taught me how to not be afraid.
Tobias Ward disappeared in the summer of 2004. Cratertown searched for him for 3 weeks. Heaven volunteered during every search. She handed out water. She comforted his father, and she helped hang missing person posters. They found his letter and body 4 months later. While they were still investigating Tobias's death, everyone talked about how kind Heaven O'Brien was, how compassionate, how selfless. Nobody noticed that Heaven seemed happier. Ryan apologized and admitted he had slept with Ariel, and Ariel cried. Heaven forgave them both. At least that's what she told them. 3 weeks later, Ryan disappeared from a bonfire at Crater Lake. Ariel disappeared 11 days after him. By the end of summer, 6 teenagers were missing. The police believed someone was targeting Cratertown teenagers. They were right, but they were looking for a man. Someone strong, angry, and with a reason to kill. Nobody looked at the bubbly girl on the dance team. Nobody suspected the 17-year-old who smiled in every school photograph. Heaven didn't want revenge. Revenge had ended with Tobias. What came after was something different. Heaven enjoyed the silence before they realized she was there. She enjoyed watching them run. She enjoyed learning how people behaved when fear took away everything they pretended to be. Tobias had called it hunting. Heaven called it summer, and every summer for 3 years it became Heaven's summer. And with every victim, Heaven became better, quieter, more patient, and more creative. Eventually, killing them wasn't enough. Heaven wanted to understand them. She wanted to know what it felt like to become the person she had hunted. So she began keeping mementos: hair, jewelry, and clothing. Then, 5 years later, one summer night, Heaven looked into a mirror and realized her own face had become boring. After 40 victims, she wanted more. After that, the following summers and victims gave her something new. For the first time, Heaven wore another woman's face. And when she looked into the mirror, Heaven O'Brien smiled. Heaven was never caught. Years later, a post appeared on a Reddit forum dedicated to unsolved murders. The account was deleted less than an hour later. It read, "Summer belongs to the fearless. People think killers need revenge, a broken heart, a reason. They don't. Sometimes you just enjoy the hunt. You can run, you should run, but if she's already behind you, don't look at her face, because it belonged to the last person who ran."